Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Andrew, and welcome on back to Leo Gaming. Today, we are taking a look at Stonehearth, and for the nature of this series, this is the Leo Play series where I go ahead and dive into a game that is of a first look slash first impressions based game. I have put roughly about 10 hours into this game at this point, and so far I like it. I like it to the point where I want to play this again. I'm not too sure when though, so if you guys want to see this as like a short series for YouTube, or you guys want to see this as a stream series over on Twitch, then go ahead and just let me know down in the comment section, and then I will go ahead and try my best to make it happen. But anyway, let's go and get on into the game, and let's just show you guys a little bit about how this game works. So, first off, you can go ahead and play this game in single player or multiplayer. They both play the same way. The only difference between the two is that with multiplayer games, you pretty much are allowing people from your friends list that you have on Steam to join your game. Now, this is only available for people that receive invitations from you. So they have to physically be friends with you, and you have to physically send them an invitation via Steam to go ahead and join via multiplayer. I've done this a couple times on stream before with one of my friends, and it's worked out pretty good. In fact, you guys can see right here that I did have a town called Blabberton. That was my town. I have no clue what my friend's town was, but that was the town that we created. And it was pretty good, but we're going to go and start up a single player portion, and this is where it gets interesting. You get to go ahead and pretty much create the basic storyline of your adventure, and you can choose different options, and this is just going to be the basis of how the game is going to work for you. So the first part is selecting a kingdom. You got the Ascendancy, you got the Raya's Children, or you got the Northern Alliance. The Ascendancy is pretty much the base level people that are ideal for new players. The Raya's Children are typically desert people, and Northern Alliance is people that are high up in the mountains. So, you can go ahead and choose whichever one of these suit you best, but I am going to go ahead and choose the Ascendancy because they are ideal for new players, which most of you who are watching right now are most likely new players anyway. So this is where the actual terrain comes into effect. Different terrains will have different benefits for both you and your actual Hearthlings. Hearthlings are pretty much the people that are a part of your tribe, and they'll be pretty much getting a good basis off of how your tribe will be working. So you want to make sure that you're a bit balanced. So the Ascendancy, their home biome, as it is the temperate forest biome. Now, I'm thinking that I would start off with one of the other ones because you got the desert biome, you got the Arctic biome, and you got the highlands biome. All of them bring their own unique challenges. Desert biome is preferable for Raya's Children, Arctic biome is preferable for the Northern Alliance, and the Highlands biome is pretty much for anybody, but it is a challenging biome to go ahead and start with nonetheless. Now, just the biome itself will determine what the overall map is, not necessarily what your individual map will look like. So I'm just going to go and choose the temperate forest biome. And yeah, and then here's where you get to go ahead and choose your difficulty. And there is a total of 3 difficulties: peaceful, normal, or hard. Most people will go ahead and do normal because of course that's where you get the main storyline from. Hard is a lot more challenging. You need to go and focus on your military and focus on your crafting a lot earlier, whereas normal you can kind of go at a slower pace. Peaceful means that you can just do whatever you want without having to worry about anything. So I'm just going to play this on normal so that way we can see a little bit of everything taking place. happiness level will be determined based on how low or how high it may get. So we'll be going into that a bit later in the video. But anyway, you guys can see that there is a few of them. Like this one right here has the cultist skill. The cultist means that they are mostly going to be a bit more secretive about things, so I would recommend not starting with one of them, but definitely making sure that you go ahead and figure out who it is that you want to start the game with. So if you don't like any of the people, you can always re-roll either that person or just all your citizens. You can't re-roll their unique skills as they are. You can actually re-roll the person themselves. So like for instance, that just re-rolls it to a different person. They are a dairy lover and they are a night owl. So that person would most likely be good for possibly working at night. Then we have this guy, Baxter Hughes, Green Thumb, and a Stoic. That's actually a pretty good Q set right there. Then we got a Featherweight and a Pluvile? Okay. Loves nothing more than the gentle drumbeat of raindrops. Okay, so that means they will prefer rainy weather more than sunny weather. Okay, that's not a bad thing, because there are some people that are afraid of rain. So that's where it gets a bit difficult sometimes. We got this guy who is a hellofiable and excitable. So these two right here, Zed and Leon, will preferably not work in the same environments, because Zed, he likes the sun a lot better than anything else. So when it's raining, he's not going to be as happy, and he's not going to want to work as much. So you want to keep that in mind when you are starting out with your characters. Gluttony is something that you want to focus on a little bit if you do start out with a character that has it, but at the same time, you don't really need to focus on them. The only difference between them is instead of eating 2 meals a day, they eat 3. So they only eat like 50% more for themselves. So that's the only thing about them. If you want to re-roll them, that's completely up to you. I'm going to re-roll them just for simplicity's sakes, because I want to have 2 abilities for this person. Animal Companion, because they start off with an Animal Companion, and Opinionated, so they will share their opinion a little bit more vigorously. Okay? And that pretty much covers all of our starting tribal people. Let's go ahead and accept this roster, and here's where you get to start your resources. You can either choose Food for Days, your Merchant Caravan, Military Expedition, Noble Entourage, Money Solves All Problems. So these are pretty much the 5 basic ones that you can have at start. Preferably, I would want to focus on just taking a look at this set, because there are different sets that you can start off with. I would prefer to start off with both the Carpenter's tool, the which one is it? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head here. The Stonemason's tool, that's what it was, and a pretty much a sword, or a practice sword, which this one provides one of those 3 that I'm looking after, but not a lot, in all honesty. We might just go with this one. Berries and gold, yeah, maybe. I'm gonna go quickly debate about this real quick with myself. Okay, so I think I've made my decision pretty much. I think we're gonna go ahead and start with the Merchant Caravan. The Merchant Caravan starts off with the ability to get 1 Trapper, 1 Footman, and 1 Herbalist. That's already 3 jobs taken up. In fact, that's the most amount of jobs taken up in this entire list. So that's pretty beneficial right there. Plus you get 10 berries and 20 gold to start. which isn't the most because you could do the money solves all problems one, but we're gonna go and just do the merchant caravan. Um, sound. I don't think that there's much else to explain with that. Let's go ahead and get this started. So here is how things will go ahead and start off. You want to go ahead and figure out what your starting area will be. You can choose pretty much anywhere over here, but what I will go and do is just re-roll for a new seed because that had too much mountains. This looks somewhat decent actually. We can go ahead and get it placed like over in this area. In fact, I think we want to have it somewhere nearby. Maybe over here? Okay, I think right there is going to be the best spot for us. We have 3 out of 4 points towards tree and plants. The wildlife is at 4 rating, and minerals are at a 1 rating right there. Now, you can see the white box that is highlighting the area that you'll have, because all the shaded out gray area is not going to be included on your map. So you want to make sure that wherever you're going to be choosing your settlement location, that you choose it very wisely, because you're not going to have a redo for this. So be very wise on this occasion. So I will go and select this location right here, settle here, and we are going to go ahead and get going into the game. Okay, so we just spawned into the game. This world, I will have to admit, it spawns pretty nicely. You can see all of these like patches right here, which I'll go into detail about what those are here in a few minutes. But the main point that I want to make about this world is you want to go ahead and make sure you're starting on a level that would make sense, such as in a level that has water on it. And then preferably nearby a large forested area, or you can even go higher up into the mountains and go in and start up there, but that will be more of a challenge. But let me see here. There is plenty of good stuff lying around, but I think I'm going to stay close to the central part of the map, which is over in this general area. So let's go ahead and make our settlement right over here. So this flag is going to mark where our settlement is going to be. If we go and place that down, that is going to choose our settlement location. If I go ahead and pause right here, you see that we have a hearth right here. This is pretty much the campfire that all of them will gather around at night. We have all 5 of our tribesmen, or hearthlings, I should say, right here, and then we have the carpenter's saw, which that's automatically given to us. We also have the trapper's knife, and then we also have the practice sword. Now, if I recall correctly, we should also have the herbalist's staff. Yes, we do. So that's actually 4 of the 5 uh, people that will have jobs. So we'll have one for pretty much doing all the heavy work, but for starters, I want to go ahead and actually get a couple stockpiles taken care of here. So stockpiles are pretty simple to go and get created. You just simply go right here, designate the zones, and you can go and designate a stockpile. Stockpiles can be of any size, but max size is a 20 by 20, like you can see right there. I'm not going to have my stockpile be that big. I'm going to have it be half as much at about 10 by 20. So that is going to be designated for all resources, but nothing else. So that's not going to have any wealth, that's not going to have any food, that's not going to have any combat tools, construction stuff, or even nature and scenery stuff. That will come at a later point. So that's the first zone right there. Then I want to have a gap of 2, or a gap of 1 actually. And let's go ahead and get a 10 by 10 right there. That's not going to have resources, but that will go ahead and have any sort of nature-based stuff along with food and drinks. No wealth-based items, so that is perfectly fine right there. And then I think the final zone we will make will be just right here. And this will have pretty much everything else that like construction tools and equipment, combats, and that is everything. So we got the three stockpiles that we are going to be using the most of right now. And what I'm going to go ahead and get started with is the gathering of different materials. So what we can go ahead and do is go ahead and do gather and replant. This will go ahead and harvest trees, harvest plants, harvest stone where is possible, and then go ahead and just make sure to replant it once when they chop down the trees and anything else that is of gatherable materials. So that will all be gathered right there. We want that to be gathered as well, so that will give us good food stockpile. We got some bushes right here, so we'll get that harvested. Um, let's see here though. What are these? These are wild blight bells, and these are sugar bells. And that's just a medium boulder right there. So we can go ahead and harvest those. Um, yep, you can go ahead and harvest all of you. Okay. Harvest that stone for us. And we can do the same thing over here. We got a couple more blight bells and sugar bells. Let's go and do something like you. I'm just gonna get all this stuff queued up here, and we'll go ahead and move on. And then I'll talk a little bit more about these pits right here. So, these pits are pretty much clay pits. If you guys go ahead and go into the harvest menu, and if you go into mine custom block, this will allow you to go and select any blocks within this area. Now you can go ahead and do this like that, and this will allow you to go and mine up that specific area. Or what you can do is go and cancel, um, go ahead and cancel that just by holding the control button with the mine custom block key, and you can go ahead and get started on pretty much a mine in this area, and it will make things a bit simpler. That they're gonna go out on that, and you guys can see these blue lines right here. This is one of the features that are available from a mod that I currently have installed. So if I go into the pause menu here and go into settings, and if we go under gameplay, you can see that there is this right here. Actually, it's not available through a mod, it's available through the base game. This is Show Hearthling Paths. This will allow you to see where your Hearthlings are actually going to be moving to and what they're going to be doing at that very point in time. It will also let you know what the priority is of actually getting things replanted, getting things harvested, so on and so forth. Um, they're going to do a pretty decent job. They're all going to bring the materials once when they get done with all the tasks back to the stockpiles. That's the reason why I wanted to get those started up to begin with. And then what we can go ahead and do is we can go ahead. Ooh, a strange bird appeared. This is a part of the storyline for the actual game. An odd bird arrives with a letter in its beak, stamped with the official seal of the Ascendancy. The bird also carries a name tag, which reads Herald. Yeah, nice to meet you, Herald. Dear Expedition 98, I hope this letter finds you well. By my guess, you've likely set up camp by now. As your capital liaison, it is my honor to preside remotely over the official founding of your outpost. I trust that you had ample time to choose a name on your journey. Founding. As you know, every new settlement must choose a banner. This banner reflects your spirit and vision, the uniting factor which brought the expedition together. What future did you foresee when you embarked on your quest for township? Banner. Holding your mind a vision of what your town will be one day. Your banner will set the course, but it is up to you to finish it. Choose well, my friend. I eagerly await your reply. Yours, Hans. What shall we choose? So, this is where we go and declare what our settlement will actually be. So, this will also be where we also determine the name for our town. I'm just gonna go and choose a random name. Uh, yeah, let's go with that. I'm not going to even read it. So there are three different banners that you can choose from. You can choose a banner of vitality, which produces 25% more wood from trees. Plants and crops grow 25% faster, and plants have 2 times their normal appeal. Appeal does affect a few things in this game, and I'll explain that later on. The settlement will grow stronger through earth and steel, which is through the banner of strength. Mining gives 50% more ore, stone, and clay. Hearthlings no longer mine cramped spaces. That is very beneficial including if you are creating a very compact world, or town, as you can call it. Banner of Cunning, the settlement will be a bustling hub of trade. Roads give 3 times their normal speed boost. Your items sell for 50% more. Traders will bring 2 times the goods and gold. So, I'm pretty certain that the one you want to go for would be the Banner of Vitality, but I'm going to do things a bit more because we are a caravan pretty much, so I'm going to go for the Banner of Cunning. We want to get 2 times more goods, 2 times more gold from traders, and then we also want to have the faster road speed, and then your items sell for 50% more. That is also good. So we will issue the declaration. Outpost established. Roads give 3 times their normal speed boost. Items sell for 50% more. Traders will bring 2 times the good and gold. Now you can see that they were all celebrating as I was reading that through. And right now, they're all just doing a little bit of socializing. So, they've pretty much gathered, and I'm guessing replanted by now. Yeah, they have. So they've all replanted these sugar bells. The bird squawks. You're not sure how you missed it before, but the bird is wearing a tiny backpack. It contains a note which reads, "A little something for your help," along with 4 cornbread, 1 peasant bread, 2 roast sausage. Delicious! This is just food that the bird actually gives you. Baxter Q's can't find food. That is um, one of our people that can't find food apparently. So what is this about? You can't find food. The bird departs. The odd messenger birds scurries off with your official settlement founding declaration in its back or in its beak, carrying it in the vague direction of the capital. Farewell. So that's just progression in the storyline right there. You don't need to play up to that point, but you can if you really want to. Anyway, what else do we got going on for us? So this is just the basis. I'm gonna go and skip forward a little bit where we can go ahead and mine. So mining is something that you can go and do. You can either do mine tunnel, which digs a 4x4 area, or you can do mine a custom block, which if you go and use control, or no, not control, shift, and the scroll wheel, that allows you to select a large area, such as in an 8x8, or even like you can go, if I recall correctly, if you go, I think it's the Alt key. Yeah, it's the Alt key and scrolling up on the up wheel. It will allow you to go and select an area downward. So this is very helpful for if you want to go and mine out more than just one area. So that is pretty useful right there. Let's go ahead and just go and start the digging process of this then. Same, the maximum size for dig is like a 40 by 40 square, like this. Um, and I'm gonna go and pause the game here. Pause the game like so. And I'm gonna just go ahead and keep mining this area out in a rough, almost pyramid-like fashion, and just go down 4 blocks. Should be perfectly fine right there. They'll go in and get started on that, and that will allow the actual people to do their own doing, or whatever the case may be. So there is Stonehearth in a bit of a nutshell. You can do a good amount of stuff with this, but there is a lot of stuff you can do as well. I'm going to go and quickly save up this game and create a new save for this world. But I'm going to go and load up this save right here and show you guys what you can do. No, that's just the mod changes right there. Okay, so now we are inside of the multiplayer world that I was in with one of my friends recently. You can see that there are 2 different towns here, pretty much. This is my multiplayer friend's town, pretty much, town center, as it were. She had the benefit of the Banner of Cunning, which is the 3-time road speed, as you can tell because of all the roads that are around the area. My group had the Banner of Strength, so we were able to get 50% more ore and have more benefits from that. We were also getting a lot of work done. Like, for instance, I was mostly the one focusing on building. She did do a bit of building as well, but she mostly focused on the actual living spaces for her people instead of the actual, like, well, actually, I didn't even build that much. Lies. So this right here is actually a work in progress build that is pretty much a mason's building, which is going along pretty nicely. If I go ahead and run this on the next speed here, you can see that all the stone hearthlings are doing a pretty good job. Her hearthlings are not on the map. That is because of the fact that this is a multiplayer based map that is primarily focused on making sure that your individual towns are based on your individual towns. So if you play your town for a certain period of time and you also have a friend who's also playing in that town, their portion of that town is not going to function if you are online and they are not. That is purely for the reason that they don't want the other person's town to progress more than the first person's town, if that makes sense. So I wanted to get that and shown with you a little bit here. You guys can see all this. I do have to pass on for this world as well. But yeah, you can see that this game does provide a different level of challenge for sure, including, like, this is something that you can find in the overworld. Cthulhu Temple. Well, it's not really a temple, but oh well. It doesn't really have anything useful aside from being there. So there's that. You can get a lot of stuff done with this. Like, we have a whole bunch of different projects that we started off in this series or inside of this world, but we have yet to come back to it. But anyway, I have been recording for way too long today, and I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video nonetheless, and I hope to see you guys for the next episode, or next video for that matter. Next video coming out on the channel is going to be on Friday for some Airport CEO, then some more Prison Architect on Saturday, and then we will be back with Leo Plays next Wednesday. If you guys wanted to go and check out that, make sure to go and subscribe, hit the like button if you want to see more of these videos. I will catch you guys for the next episode.